this is the first MCG Twitch game that we have done. We've recorded a few other games, but this is the first time we've done this. This is ostensibly for as part of one of our Kickstarter rewards from the Into the Ninth World Kickstarter, and we're just happy to be here and always fun to play a game. I'm Monty Cook, and I'm going to introduce everybody here in a minute, and they're going to tell you the characters they're playing. I'm going to be the game master today, and we really appreciate you taking the time to share a game with us and watch us do silly things a billion years in the future. Real briefly, just to let you know, we are going to be using the characters that come with the brand new Numenera starter set. And so if you have that product, you'll be able to look at the characters and see the ones that we've chosen to use today. If not, we'll be explaining to you what characters we're playing. I also want to let you know that while I'll be using the Numenera rules pretty much as written, one of the options that I personally use as a game master is I do not reveal the difficulties to the players. Makes things more narrative, less mechanical. So you'll see that in action, but that's why I'm not saying, and it's a difficulty-free action. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let everybody know who is taking part in today's adventure. Let's start with Monty Cook COO, Charles Ryan.
That's me. I'm Charles Ryan, and today I'm going to be playing Faroon, who is a stealthy Jack who explores dark places.
Cool. Let's go then to our game designer, senior game designer, Bruce Cordell.
Hey, so today I will be playing Kalain, who's a strong glaive that wears a sheen of ice. Kalain knows Tanis because we were both in prison together, and I like to think that he's only alive because I stuck up for him.
Cool. Next, we'll go to our community manager, Sean Reynolds.
Hi, I am playing Tanis, who is a strong-willed Jack who commands mental powers. I was in prison with Kalain, and Tanis definitely agrees that the only reason he's alive is because Kalain kept him safe. What most people don't know is that Tanis is in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He actually took the fall for his sister, who is a mayor of a town, and so he knows the other characters because she made arrangements to get him sprung. And I wouldn't let that happen unless Kalain came along.
And we all totally believe that.
And then our fourth player character is going to be played by Monty Cook co-owner and game designer, Shauna Germain.
I'm playing Sharad Talar, who's an intelligent nano who leads. I look like this. And I have been traveling with Faroon for a little while, even though I think that she's a little suspect. But in my past, and this is something that everyone knows about because it's a huge part of what I'm doing here, is that this experiment that I conducted to turn broken hounds into loyal companions went very awry and ended sort of like this. And so I'm working hard to find a way to remedy that.
All right. So those are our four characters. When we start, there is a looming figure sitting astride a strange beast, and she is pointing some kind of strange, unknown, clearly Numenera device at you, and she's saying, "I'm here to relieve you of all those shins and valuables you might be carrying."
And cats, apparently.
And cats. It's an attack cat.
You are in the middle of the wilderness. You have trekked for the better part of a day on a mission from an Eon priest. A very old man walks with a cane. He's got one eye replaced with a mech eye. Smells really bad. Long stringy hair. But he is employing you and has promised you a great reward if you track down his servant, who is an automaton. And this automaton has led you on this sort of merry chase through the wilderness. We'll talk about more about that, but let's deal with the matter more at hand. As you have approached this strange-looking structure, you can see it off in the distance. It kind of looks like a cone, and above it is floating a similar but much larger sort of cone-shaped structure. But that's still in the distance. That seems to be where you need to go. But in your way is this very muscular, large woman astride this beast that kind of looks, it's a quadruped. It's got a broad, almost cat-like face and horns. And the terrain here is kind of hilly with scrub brush all over everywhere. And she has clearly been waiting for you on the path. She's holding some kind of large, weird, long device pointed at you, giving you that threat. And even as she says that, up a little bit higher on one of the hills, a man with kind of a tight leather jerkin with a crossbow is also come into view. What do you do?
Wait. So I have a little notebook, which I'm going to pull out, and I'm going to. What's your name?
She says, "My name don't matter. What you're carrying matters."
I'll flip through my little note. See if I have anything. Any bounties out there that are described as a muscular woman who's known to associate with a crossbow dude and a large beast.
No.
Are you an experienced criminal, an experienced robber?
All right. She is raising up the thing, and she says, "That one dies first."
God, I always pick the worst company. All right, you should maybe be quiet for a little while. We don't have very much money. We are travelers. We haven't gotten paid for our last job. If you wait until we get paid for our last job, perhaps we would have more money on us.
She says, "If you ain't got much money, then your lives come cheap."
I will try a different tact, and as I start speaking and step forward just slightly, and as an enabling power, I cause my body to be covered in a sheen of ice. And I say, "We are far more than we seem. If you attack us, you will certainly die. Leave us, and you will live another day."
When Kalain does that, Tanis, you notice that this woman, she seems, just momentarily kind of startled by that, but then she kind of gives a knowing look and a wink to the guy on the hill with the crossbow, and you see that the guy with the crossbow is taking aim at Kalain and looks as though he is about to fire.
Okay.
What do you do?
How far is the woman from me?
She's a short distance away.
Okay, I would like to use a cipher.
Okay.
I have a flute-like device, which, and I've been traveling with these people for a while, so I can warn them. Like, I have a code word for plug your ears. But when I use a cipher, anybody who is not plugging their ears drops what they're holding and becomes ecstatic for 1 minute, during which time the difficulty of all their actions is increased by 2 steps.
Okay.
So when you activate this, so this woman gets all disoriented from the power of this flute.
Okay. And what's the range on that?
Short range for her.
All within short?
Yes.
Okay. So what I'm going to need you to do is make the first roll of the game. As you pull this out, give your code word, and I'm going to want you to make 2 separate rolls, one for her, one for the guy up on the rise.
And the guy
Do
on
I
the rise
have time to give him some good advice before he begins, or is it too tight time-wise?
Well, he's responding to the fact that this guy's about to shoot a crossbow,
Okay,
so
okay.
you don't really have time, I'm afraid. I'm sorry.
No, that's cool.
What type of roll is this?
So if you want to use effort, you can. I guess this would be an intellect because you're using a cipher.
Okay. Then I will spend effort on the person on the rise. So the first roll for the woman who is close to us, I roll a 13.
Okay.
And for the person on the rise, I'm spending effort, and I roll a 3.
All right. Well, I have bad news for you then.
Give it to me.
Well, let me put it a different way. I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is that the woman, the large woman who's issuing these threats, she drops what she's holding, which is this Numenera device, and she say again. She goes.
She's ecstatic for 1 minute, and all of her actions are 2 steps more difficult now.
All right, so she's just she seems disoriented and doesn't know what's going on, but doesn't seem to be upset by it. Just seems to sort of be elated almost.
That's great.
I'm also okay. So the bad news is that you didn't affect the guy on the rise, and so he fires his crossbow as he was told at Kalain. And so, Kalain, I'm going to need you to make a speed defense roll.
All right. I will apply a level of effort to that. And I have an edge of 1, so it's not quite as difficult as would otherwise be, but I only roll a 6.
Okay. But you did use a level of effort. So you this crossbow roll just barely misses. Probably skims a tiny bit of frost off the side of your head. But that's. I have more bad news, and that is that this is a gem intrusion, awarding 2 XP, and this is aimed at Charles' character, Faroon. So, Charles, I'm giving you 2 XP.
I will give one of the XP to. I'm trying to decide between. I'll give it to Bruce.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. Because what happens is when this woman drops this Numenera device, it falls to the ground and it explodes in some kind of loud report. Just got boom, and something comes flying out of the end of it at you. Comes hurtling in your direction. Now, it does seem like it, because it's not aimed at you, this might not be quite as hard to avoid as it was, but it's still coming in your general direction. So you've got to.
I'm utterly surprised, so I don't. I just. It hits me.
What did you roll?
A 2.
All right. That does 4 points of damage to you, and it seems as though it was just like a big sharp rock about the size of a small fist just came shooting out of this thing with this loud bang.
So presumably that armor will help me?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Subtract your armor from that. What kind of armor are you wearing?
I'm wearing some fairly heavy armor, and I have actually a fitted breastplate that I wear over my midsection, so it hit me right in the midsection. Knocked back. Didn't not hurt, but I'm glad I had the armor.
Okay. So you guys also...
As a quick question, though, when you said this thing explodes, do you mean that it explodes in the sense that it made an extremely explosive noise while it fired off and it's still there? Or did it blow up and become disintegrated?
The former. It's still lying intact on the ground. But
I know who it's going to belong to in a minute.
So you guys also you don't have mounts per se like she does, but you do have a pack animal. You have an anine, which you can find in the Numenera core book. It's a large, two-legged sort of creature, big, broad body, very strong, lots of places to strap on packs and whatnot, kind of a smallish head, frequently used as pack animals. And so you guys have probably all your extra gear and food and whatnot strapped on there. You didn't know how long this journey was going to be, so you probably brought maybe 3 days worth of food with you, but you're only about a day out. And so meanwhile, she is ecstatic. However, her mount is not. Well, actually, you know what, Sean? I should have had you roll for the mount too, because the mount. Let's backtrack for a minute and make a third roll to see if the mount is ecstatic.
All right. I roll a 7.
Okay, it is not. All right. So it begins bounding forward, and as it does, and as she gets closer, she looks like she's kind of trying to gather her wits, and she is grabbing an axe that she has at her side, sort of on the saddle on this thing that she is riding. But she still looks. I mean, she looks like she's having a really difficult time focusing. So meanwhile, Shauna, what is Sharad gonna do?
How far away is the gentleman on the rise?
He is also a short distance, but he's also up a little bit.
And how far up is he?
It's just kind of a fairly gentle slope, and he's kind of just emerged from some brush, but it's probably 10 or 12 feet above the level that you're on.
And is the creature heading like right for me, or am I kind of out of it?
For all of you.
Oh, okay. Then I think that I would like to get out of the way of the charging creature while also, I'm trained in social interactions, and so I would like to suggest to the gentleman on the rise that perhaps it would be a good time to put his weapon down. That we don't want to actually do any damage to him, but if he continues to force the issue, we might have to.
Okay. Well, given that the person who's clearly giving him orders is weirded out, but still charging into battle, you think that this will be a pretty difficult thing to convince this guy to suddenly drop out of the fight.
So I'm trained in all social interactions, and I will apply a level of effort as well.
You're going to decrease the difficulty by 2. I do need you to make a roll then.
Okay. I rolled a 9.
Okay. You say that with such conviction and such confidence that he does seem to kind of at least pause. He's got a crossbow, as I mentioned, and he kind of lowers it, and he doesn't look like he's getting ready to reload it right away. Instead, he is watching the woman to see what her reaction is, and that doesn't seem to be filling him with confidence because she's acting really weird.
Can I dive in and get that thing that shot me?
It is your turn, and you can. It would be a short distance away, so it would be basically your action to run over there. But then grabbing it should be no problem.
All right, and I'm willing to dive on it. I want to like going after a fumble in a football. I want to own it before somebody else does. Well, before she does in particular, but
okay, well, she's left it behind.
All right. Okay.
So that no one is opposing you in that action. You can run up there and grab that thing.
Okay, that's what I do.
Okay. And at that point, we are back to actually Kalane's turn.
All right.
This by putting on your sheen of ice.
Right. So I'm ready to go. I've got a funky sword staff, and since she's kind of sort of out of it, I guess I know the guy's a little far away, but I'm just going to start advancing in a very confident manner. I'm not sure I can get all the way to him and attack, but I'll head in his direction.
Okay.
Striding purposefully and, menacingly.
Okay. That seems to only add to Sharad's action itself, because you're backing her up, and this guy is actually starting to look a little nervous, and still has not yet tried to reload his crossbow or anything like that. Still waiting on this woman for something, and she's not giving him anything. And so, Tanis, it is your turn. And you're right up close to him now, Kalain.
Cool.
I'm going to stick to Kalain because Kalain's my buddy, and so I'm going to stride forth and ready my oak staff to clonk this person on the ridge.
Okay, so you're both heading up the ridge. So basically, she is charged forward on this war beast, and everyone's kind of scattered away from her. All right. Well, at that point, then the person who's probably still closest to her would be Sharad. I know you said you were trying to get out of the way of her, but pretty much everyone else has moved even farther away. So the war beast comes up and just tries to sort of pounce on you with its two front. It's got big, almost cat-like paws.
I don't like this creature. This is defense, right?
Big defense, yes.
Okay. I wasn't sure how close it was. All right. I'm just gonna try my luck.
Okay.
Let me roll a 3.
Okay. So this creature comes up and pounces on you. Its claws scrape against you. It does 3 points of damage. I'm also going to need you to make another roll, and this one is a might defense roll.
Oh no. All right. 16.
Okay, so despite the force of its pounce, you're knocked back a couple of steps, but you're not actually knocked off your feet. You're able to keep to your feet as this thing bears down on you. The woman is also there, and she swings her axe at you as well. But she's still looking not entirely into right. She's just sort of her eyes have kind of glazed over, and she seems to be kind of shuddering and giggling a little bit.
But I'm sure she's still scary with that axe. Do you need me to get out of the way? I'm guessing.
Yes, I need you to make another defense roll.
7.
Okay, well, normally you think that would be not enough. You think that she's got you dead to rights. But just at the last minute, a giggle and a shudder make her swing her axe, and faulty, and she swings right over your head.
Whew. Well played. That's so
All right, and the guy with the crossbow doesn't. He seems to be well and truly intimidated now, and uses his action to just kind of hold up one, still holding his crossbow. He'll just kind of holds up his hand and begins to back away. And in fact, he cries out, "Myra, I think they're too much for us." And he is backing away kind of through the brush that he came out of.
I'm right next to him, though, right?
You are, yes.
I command him to drop his crossbow. Oh, wait, it's not my turn.
Not your turn. In fact, it is Sharad's turn.
All right. Now I'm mad. I don't have a lot of might, and this creature took half of it. So I'm gonna use onslaught. This is, for those of you who know me, like, this is rare. I rarely do anything bad to animals, but that thing attacked me. All right, so I'm going to use just. Does it look like it has like an armored hide, or is it furry, or?
Doesn't. It's hairless. It's kind of gray. It's like I said, a quadruped. It's got clawed, almost paw-like feet. Probably a mammal of some kind. Big wide face.
All right, I am going to use Onslaught, the Force Ray, and I don't want to hurt it, but I'm sorry, I don't want to kill it. I'm pretty sure I can't, as big as it is, with what I can do. But I would like to sort of just knock it out.
You don't have to inflict lethal damage when you make an attack, so that's fine.
And I'm going to apply a level of effort
For the attack.
Yes.
Okay.
For the roll, not for damage.
Right.
Okay. An 11.
Okay, you definitely hit then. I'm guessing that's 4 points of damage.
Yes.
All right, so Sharad holds out her hand, blasts forth a ray of just raw force, and hits this thing just square in the snout. That seems to be a significant amount of damage to it. It doesn't have any protection or armor or anything like that, and it just reacts like animals often do when you smack them in the snout, and just kind of shakes its head, and snorts. But looks like it's going to continue its action. But before that happens, Faroon, it is your action.
Sorry. Looking at this thing I picked up, am I going to be able to activate it?
Do you have any skill in such things?
Not really.
Okay, well, you can always still just try it would be an intellect-based action if you want to use effort. Otherwise, just give me a roll.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a 1. You know what? No. I'm going to re-roll that bad boy.
Wow.
Well, this could be something really cool, and I don't want it to just blow up and be dead, and take me with it.
Charles is still on the ground for me, by the way.
I know. Nice.
I kid you not, my re-roll is a 20.
Nice.
Wow, well done.
All right. You pick it up and you quickly grok the way this thing works. It seems to be it's kind of large and bulky, probably particularly for you. But it seems really clear that there's like a receptacle on one end, and you put something inside of it, pretty much anything like the size of your hand or whatever, or maybe even multiple things if you wanted to. And then there's an activation, and it shoots it out with great force on the other end.
Any rocks handy?
It is not. Yeah, there are rocks everywhere. And to be really clear, this is an artifact, not a cipher, so it has multiple uses.
Excellent. I will look around for a rock.
Easily find one. But that is your action. You can put the rock in, but then figuring all that out and everything is the action.
Understood.
All right. So the woman who the man called Myra, still ecstatic, but still trying to kind of fight through it. It's a strange sight to see. Because you can see her fighting through this effect that she doesn't want to be ecstatic. She doesn't want to be happy and whatnot. But yet something is compelling her. Obviously, so she's the very picture of inner conflict. But meanwhile, she still only has basically one easy foe, and that's Sharad. So sorry to keep picking on you, Shauna. but she is going to swing her axe. Again, she's got a 2 difficulty, so she doesn't seem to be the fierce combatant that she was at the start of this fight.
All right. 17.
All right, you easily dodge her, and the creature also wants to get its revenge after you just smashed it in the nose. So it is attacking you now with kind of a swipe with its claw, and it is not hindered. In fact, it seems angrier and more determined than ever.
It did not learn a very smart lesson, did it? All right. 9.
You just barely managed to get out of the way of this thing. Its claws kind of tear at your clothing a little bit, but don't actually draw blood.
Considering that all I have on are clothes and no armor, I'm sure it's already like.
Just tears the sleeve of your shirt. All right, that brings us back to Klain. Klain, you wanted to act before. It is finally your turn again.
Sorry, I was all right, so he was trying to get away, and I'm happy with him getting away. I just don't want him to become a threat later, so I command him to drop his crossbow. And if he doesn't do it within like a half second, I'll give him an attack.
Okay. So this is basically you're trying to intimidate him. So this is going to be a roll. It's intellect based. If you want to use effort to figure out the most commanding way to put that most forceful.
Yeah, I will use a level of effort.
Okay.
And I'll roll, and I'll get a 12.
Okay. So he was kind of backing away. You told him to drop his crossbow. It looks like you got basically everyone ignoring her and going toward him seems to have really freaked him out. You can imagine that the guy whose role it is to be up on the hill with the crossbow is not used to everyone coming for him. So he does. He drops the crossbow and then just turns his back on you and runs up the side of this hill, deeper into some kind of scrub brush and tumbleweeds.
All right, that's good enough for me. I will grab the crossbow and turn back towards the larger conflict.
Okay. And Tanis, what are you going to do?
Well, since Kalain is taking care of that opponent, I was going to grab the crossbow. And instead, I'll turn around and I'll race back to where Sharad is because they look like they're having a harder time.
Okay, yeah. Well, Sharad is sort of taking on the woman and her mount all by herself, but she seems to be holding her own and doing okay. But yeah, it's basically going to take your action to run back. If you want to get into melee, it's going to be another action to go back now.
Yeah, I want to push myself to get. Even if I can't actually make an attack this turn, I'd like to be there to kind of interpose myself if things go bad for Sharad.
Okay. What I'm going to have you do then is make a roll, because you're running down a hill. The terrain is a little bit rough and rugged. It's going to be a speed-based roll.
Okay. I will spend effort on that.
Okay.
I rolled a 1.
Cool.
Bruce.
I can tell you that spending that stuff really pays off.
You know what? I'm going to let Sean re-roll that. I'll give him the XP I got.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Look at how sad Monty is.
He's imagining a Princess Bride situation where I'm just rolling down the hill the entire time. My re-roll is an 18. Thank you, Bruce.
Nice.
What did I tell you?
You absolutely get down to where Sharad is. Probably not enough time to actually take an action, but definitely enough time to interpose yourself and make it so that you would be probably almost certainly the recipient of another attack if it's forthcoming.
That's fine. I'll take a hit if I have to.
Okay. All right. And it is Faroon's turn.
Okay, well, I have I've been known, as claims aware, to dabble in bounty hunting, and I'm going to presume that there might be a bounty on that woman, but probably not on her beast. So I'm going to shoot my device at the creature, because I figure she won't be standing quite so tall when she's actually standing on her own feet.
Okay.
Okay, so I roll an 18.
Nice.
Wow.
All right.
So
So,
4 points of damage to me.
what?
Hopefully that's 6 points of damage to the creature.
4 point.
The device did 4 points of damage to me.
Yes, it did. Yeah, I was about to say 18 is going to be +2 damage. So that not only is a hit, but it's a really solid hit. It does indeed do 4 points of damage. Normally, it's a level 4 artifact. So that is enough so that you've run behind it basically. So when you shoot it, you're sort of shooting it in its wide rump, and that kind of makes it rear up and buck a little bit. And in fact, because she's not fully in her right mind, the woman Myra actually falls off of the creature as it takes that hit, and that surprise, and bucks up a little bit. So now she is off of it on the ground.
And so I know I've used my action for the turn. I probably don't have anything else I can do this turn, but just out of curiosity, when you're pointing this artifact at somebody, can they tell if it's loaded? Or is that sort of behind and back where you put stuff in?
Yeah, I don't. You don't think so? There's sort of this, it in a weird sort of way. It's almost like a jet engine, right? It's sucking things in one side and shooting them out the other.
Right.
So there is no way to know if there's something sort of in the chamber, so to speak.
Perfect. Okay, perfect.
All right. So that would bring us to Sharad, I think, again, right? Or have I completely lost the order? Yes.
So, Tanis, how close are you to me right now?
I'm
Basically.
close enough that if the thing attacks you, it might attack me instead. Like, I'm hoping just to get in its way so that you don't get killed.
So can I kind of hold my action? What I'd really like to do is give Tanis some good advice on his next action, whatever that is. But since I don't know what it is, can I kind of hold it until he does it, or how does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
That's basically exactly the way that power
Okay,
works.
that's what I kind of want to do then.
Yes.
And if possible, kind of move a little bit closer or behind him so that I can talk to him without being attacked in the interim.
Okay.
Not that I want to put him in harm's way. That's not my intention, to use him as a shield, but...
Okay. So Myra is still trying to force her action. She's weirdly affected, but she's not hurt or anything. There's no reason for her to believe that she won't still win this day. So, in fact, she's ecstatic. So, of course she's going to win the day. And so she is going to swing her battle axe again. This time, however, it's going to be at Tanis.
Okay. I am trained in speed defense,
Okay?
and I roll a 12.
Okay. You find it very easy to dodge out of the way of her because she just is kind of swinging wildly, and again, her body's kind of shuddering and she's giggling, and it's a very, very weird sort of experience. However, the creature turns around, takes kind of a crouch position, snarls at, assessing what just smacked it in the butt. And then it leaps forward, pouncing at Faroon. And it can move that distance and make an attack with a pounce at the end. So, Faroon, you're going to need to make a speed defense roll.
Yes, and I will apply effort. So I rolled a 16, so hopefully that should be...
Easily roll out of the way as this thing's big paws kind of smash down into the dust. But it's still snarling, waving its long horns around. But it does look pretty injured, actually. It looks... It's hurt and bloodied. it has the appearance of an animal that now thinks that it is fighting for its very life. And I believe that makes it Kalane's turn.
All right, I see that its demeanor has changed slightly, and knowing how much Sharad values the creatures, I'll attack it, but I won't be trying to kill it, right? I'll be trying to, if I do lethal damage, I'll just try and drive it off.
And so how are you attacking it?
With the blunt end of my sword staff.
Well, it's quite a distance from it.
You know what then? I will start running towards it. In the menacing manner.
That worked for that guy. I don't know why it
Exactly.
went for the
Just
creature.
remember, you went up
Yeah.
on the ridge.
You're right. So I'm running and I'm hollering bloody murder.
Well, you picked
Okay.
up the crossbow, right? Could you shoot the crossbow?
I have a crossbow too, but I'm not going to shoot it with a crossbow. Try to chase it off.
All right. So you're running for the creature. All right. And Tannis.
So I want to try and persuade Myra that the tide has turned. I'll point out it's like your friend on the ridge has run away, and I say, call off your beast and flee, and we will let you live.
Okay.
Sleep part.
And I will give him good advice on that, which makes you trained in that action or specialized.
I'm already trained, so that'll be specialized.
Cool.
And since Faroon already has her cool weapon, I think this will be a profitable combat
Totally
for us.
past that in this effort.
Yeah. All right, here's my roll. 19.
Okay. Well, and the fact that she is affected by your weird cipher also seems to play into this. And she does glance back and she sees that her beast is in trouble. And she glances up at the ridge and the guy is nowhere to be seen. And so she kind of grits her teeth, then lets out a weird giggle, and she just backs away and is clearly starting to leave, and she's just pointing at you and she says, "We'll meet again." But you convinced her and she's leaving. And in fact, she's calling over to the beast and she's saying, "Mersh, here." But the beast does not seem to be responding to her.
This is to the group. Do we want to find out what, like, did she come for us, or is she just some random, criminal along the
Yeah,
path?
let's not let it get away. I don't like the flee part of that command.
Well, I already said it. I can't take it back. You could shoot her in the
But-
back if you want.
All
As
right.
long as the creature's not going, then we got something.
Yeah, you're probably very busy thinking about this creature that is snarling and pawing at the dust, ignoring the commands of its master to attack you. So, Faroon, what are you going to do?
Okay.
Could you pack that weapon full of catnip?
Well, the weapon's empty, and I don't think I'm going to fake it out with a weapon. So instead, I'm going to draw my sword and attack it.
Okay.
And I roll a 9.
Okay. Well, you kind of feint to the left and then swing to the right with just enough to catch this thing. How much damage do you do?
I deal 4 points.
That is enough. Are you also trying to not kill the beast, or do you not care?
No, that is fine as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Well, then your sword is going to bring this creature to an end as you probably slice through its throat, and it falls to the ground.
Faroon, we don't kill the creatures.
Don't me.
Well, Sharad, it is your turn.
I'm gonna run. How far has she gotten? Like, is
Uh,
she within talking distance, or is she?
for sure, she's a short distance away.
So, because I'm gonna interact with her and see if she's coherent and focused enough to allow me to ask her, was she hunting us, or are we just people that she's picking off at random?
Okay. That's going to probably require another roll because she's not a particularly chatty person.
And I'm also sizing up just in case to see whether her armor fits me, since I now have her outfit. I think I'm a pretty burly guy, though. I bet I might fit, right? So I don't have to answer, but that's what
if you are a burly guy, then yes. Her
maybe
her armor. She's wearing chainmail armor, kind of supplemented with furs and whatnot. So it's medium armor, and it would probably passably fit you.
Okay, but I'm gonna focus on talking to her. I'm gonna apply a level of effort, and I'm gonna roll a 10.
Okay. Well, she still has this thing that's basically affecting all of her actions, which include her resistances, and so she just kind of through her ecstasy growls, she says, "You looked rich and stupid, and you're on my road."
Fair enough.
And she is going to continue to move away.
I'm not going to follow her.
Okay. Well, it is Kalane's turn, and you have run up to where the beast was, which means that she's more than a short distance away now that she's moving away. Sharad is closest to her.
All right. Well, I will yell after her, spread the word that we, the prison breakers, Kalane, Tannis, Faroon, and Sharad, are not to be messed with.
We're going to give her our address, too.
You can find us at.
Spread it far and wide. We'll never go back to that place.
The prison breakers.
I only had a moment to come up with that.
Tannis, it is your turn.
So she's still fleeing?
Yes.
All right, then I'm going to just stand here with the group. I'm not trying to chase her down.
Okay. And Faroon, it is your turn.
I'm astounded by the fact that we're letting this woman, disappear after what she did and her potential value to me. So I'm going to look around for a nice fist-sized rock, and then sort of jog after her and yell stop.
Okay. She has like a 2-round lead on you at this point. So
That's why I'm not sprinting.
Okay, it's going to be difficult to catch her, and she is also pretty quickly kind of disappearing into the terrain.
Okay.
Because it's rough terrain with lots of brush.
Well, I know how easy it is that if you know terrain like this, how easy it is to use it against people. So I'm not going to let myself be lured into anything. After a few dozen yards, I'll break off the chase, especially if nobody else is helping me.
Okay.
I'd like to point out to the audience that Faroon is a bounty hunter, which is why he's so obsessed in the list of names and tracking down what this person's value is to us.
Well, it's all normal behavior. Everybody does this sort of thing, right?
Yes, Faroon.
Okay. So we are no longer concerned with rounds because you're not in combat. All the opponents are either dead or scattered.
In addition to her being potentially, worth some shins, she might know whether an automaton came along here recently.
So, thanks for that reminder. Let's kind of flashback a bit to your mission here from the Eon priest named Marnellus. Marnellus had told you that he had built an automaton and had sent it on a mission to go find something of importance to him. And when the automaton, the automaton's name is Ililu, and when Ililu did not return, Marnellus cobbled together a device that would basically it has two functions. It would track and find Ililu, and it would indicate if Ililu was still functioning. And then hired you, gave you the device, and asked you to go find Ililu. The device currently shows that Ililu is still functioning, and is sort of pointing you in a direction, which is the direction of the cone-shaped thing. In fact, what it's actually pointing at is the structure above the larger sort of cone-shaped structure above. Okay. And that, you're going to guess, you're still a ways away from it, but you're going to guess that thing floats a good 800 feet in the air. And it itself is probably 150 feet tall.
Wow, okay.
The structure below is much smaller.
Seems like a good place to start, the smaller structure.
Do we know, does Ililu fly? I mean, do we know what Ililu kind of looks like? Or is that not information that Marnellus passed along?
Marnellus said that Ililu is a humanoid automaton.
Okay.
So how far off is this structure still?
Maybe the better part of a mile.
Oh, so fairly close.
Yes.
So I know a bit about tracking today, and I've been sort of like thinking about that as we move along this road. I know that the device is probably pretty reliable, but if I were to go sort of over the crest of that pass where she was blocking us and get away from all the footprints left by the fight, is there any sign of an automaton having passed through here on this dusty road?
Well, it is a road, so there's, it's the ninth world, and so it's not like you're on a highway that gets lots and lots of traffic. But you think it would be very difficult to pinpoint.
Okay, so there's some sort of pavement.
It's more like hard-packed ground.
All right. Well, I'll look around just in case, and if it doesn't have anything, that's fine.
Well, go ahead and make your roll. You're trained in it.
I rolled a 14.
Okay. There isn't any sign. I mean, assuming that Ililu leaves tracks that are identifiable from other tracks,
right?
You don't see anything that looks like that.
Okay. All right.
Well, I am sad, but also pragmatic. Does the beast that we killed have packs or anything on it that we can?
It does actually. It's got a saddle and pack. Place where her axe went.
Can we open that stuff up and see what's in there?
Sure. So looks like Mira had one pack that just has a variety of large, kind of sharp, jagged rocks.
We can pass those along.
She's also got some food in another pack. Some kind of there's some more rope and some kind of standard sorts of gear and equipment that you would have out in the wilderness. There is also an injector in there with some kind of bubbling red liquid inside a clear tube that is clearly meant to be injected into something.
Is something that somebody can identify?
I could certainly give it a shot.
Okay.
I am specialized in Numenera,
Okay.
and I'm going to use a level of effort. Just in case.
Okay. Then you succeed.
Oh,
You don't even have to roll.
I like it. What do I have?
All right. Basically, this is going to restore. It's a curative, and it will restore up to 6 might.
Nice.
It's a cipher.
We should probably give Tanis. Should you take that? Are you the only one who's got room in your cipher store?
I assume probably I'm the only one who has room right now. So, of course, I'm happy to use that if anybody ever needs it. I'm not hoarding it for myself.
Can I take a recovery roll before we head on?
Sure.
We'll do the same thing.
All right. Well, the sun's probably going to set within the next hour or so. There's still plenty of daylight, but the shadows are starting to lengthen. It's cool, and you know that the night gets quite chilly out here.
Is there some place nearby that maybe we can set our camp? Yeah, hit the structure tomorrow.
If you wish to do that, there's lots of different places.
Let's get an hour of daylight. Let's get closer.
Yeah, we could get. It's only a mile. We can make that.
Yeah, we'll be there in no time. 15
Is
minutes.
is that the direction that Mira and the gentleman came from?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Well, it's not the direction that she ran off.
Okay, then I think we should try to get closer so that we can have a fresh start in the morning. That makes sense.
And did she run off the same direction as her friend, or did they run off on different sides of the road?
Kind of both generally on the same side of the road, but one sort of went west and one sort of went southeast.
Somewhere they have a whole horde of all the shins that they've taken from lesser travelers than ourselves. We should consider finding that someday. Because she didn't have anything on her. It must be somewhere.
Yeah.
That is true. She did not have a single shin with her.
Maybe she spent it all on that mount.
Aww.
That's
So
just
you want to
right
get that
in
bag of
your
rocks?
face.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, cool. Ready to shoot some stuff.
All right. So it doesn't take you very long to cross the rest of the distance to the structure, and so it's sort of cone shaped, but not perfectly. It's actually the bottom part kind of tapers inward a little bit. Where it reached the ground, but as you get close to it, it's a dark gray like the structure above, and as you get close to it, it seems almost stone-like, but no stone that you're familiar with, and it's very smooth. Its edges are very smooth, and as you get close to it, you can see that there are a number of entrances, big, wide, kind of archway entrances all the way around it, and it seems pretty clear that it is nothing but a shell that is surrounding what looks like inside some kind of metal and glass device. And there's also a hole right at the top of the cone as well, the narrowest part.
Is this thing like 50 feet across or 200 yards across?
It's about 30 feet high and maybe 20 to 25 feet across.
Oh, it's small. Okay.
Is it stupid or smart to camp inside this building for the evening, you guys?
I think it's smart to look inside. Do we start? See what that the thing is, the glass and metal thing.
How
Agreed.
much light do we have?
You still got 45 minutes to an hour before the sun is fully set.
So it's starting to get a little twilight, but still very late afternoon. All right, well, I'll approach. Is there anything that would set you off in the space around it? It's not like filled with like bones or anything like that. There's just as you approach it, it's just wilderness around it, scrub.
Yes. There is. You notice a particular kind of wine red flower that grows around the edges of it that you haven't seen anywhere in this wilderness before, or don't see anywhere around it except that it's growing right around the edges of this thing. But beyond that, no, nothing.
Relatively small growth, not giant twining tendrils.
Just flowers, just flowering plants.
Okay. All right, I'll go up to one of those openings and look inside.
Okay. Inside there is that metal and glass device that I mentioned. It's very long and tall, like a cylinder. It's got you're familiar enough with the Numenera to kind of recognize there's some kind of controls on it, something that can be manipulated. You don't know very much beyond that. It's about maybe 8 feet tall, maybe 8 inches wide.
So, that big and taller than a person. And does it look like people come and go through it, people or creatures? I mean, is it weeds and grass and shrubs in here, or is it dirt?
The floor here is the same gray stone-like material that is surrounding it, and there are a few kind of hairline cracks in it here and there, but otherwise there's no sign of anything. There's no weeds in here, nothing growing up through it. It's still pretty intact, but clearly very, very old.
And nobody walks through. Like, it doesn't look like people come and go here. How far off the road is it?
The road runs pretty close to it, but it's up on a hill.
Okay. Well, I'll come back and report. There's some sort of prior world device, and there's like you could, I don't know, like control things, but I don't know how any of that stuff works.
I point at Sherrod.
It's all magic, I just say. Dismiss it.
Well, let's go check it out. I'll go inside. And when I look up, Monty, did you say that there was something in the ceiling?
Yeah. So this whole thing is sort of like a kind of a rough angular cone, right? And the very top, the point is open, and it is directly below the other structure.
Okay. And does it seem like big enough to put a human or a human-like automaton through? I mean, how big is that?
The hole at the top?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, any of you could easily fit through it if you wanted to climb up there or something.
I have one more question, which I should have asked earlier, which is, did Marnellus tell us what he sent Elilu after, or he kept that a secret? Okay, so we don't know.
He seemed reticent about. He just said you wouldn't understand. This way.
Okay. Is anybody else trained or specialized in the Numenera?
Oh, I haven't activated my flex skill yet, so I could be.
I'm good at climbing if you want me to climb up into that hole.
That's close.
It's like being trained in the Numenera, right?
So other than Sherrod, is there anybody in the group who is trained in Numenera? Okay, then I will use my flex skill to be trained in Numenera so that I can help her.
That would be lovely.
Okay.
That's why I like Jack so much. You guys are great to have with me. Okay, so I am going to attempt to figure out what this device is used for first, and then if it's not clear, how we use it.
Okay.
Do you think it would behoove me to scan it first? Would that provide information that would make it easier to do next time?
Are you asking me?
I was asking the group. I guess you guys as characters don't know, do you? You're like, yeah, scan it.
Does that involve climbing?
All right, well, I'm going to scan it first before I touch it and just sort of see, is it dangerous? How difficult is it? All those other things that I might learn from scanning.
Okay.
I will apply a level of effort as well.
Okay. And roll for your scan.
3.
Okay. So there seems to be some kind of strange feedback, and you're scanning it, and it's not like you're not sensing that it's there, but it's as though something seems to be purposefully distorting any kind of information that you might get.
Okay, this is a very difficult device. I might need some time.
You want some room? Come back up.
No, you don't really know what I'm doing, so you can't tell when I fail, right? So you're fine.
And I'm trained in Numenera now, so I think I'm helping. It's like, hey, how's the scan going?
Like us trying to get the Zoom thing started. Sean, let us help. Okay, I'm now going to attempt to actually learn using my specialization in the Numenera. I'll apply a level of effort for this as well.
Okay.
So that gives me 3 plus Sean.
Lowering the difficulty by 3.
14.
Actually 4 with Sean's help. Okay, so you think after giving a good study of this and taking a look at the way that the controls seem to be configured and you've comparing it to things you've seen in the past, you think that this device is going to enable some kind of very, very rapid transport up to the higher structure.
It is like climbing.
It's a cannon.
You think that basically it sends one person at a time.
Okay.
So you actually have to kind of, with each use, kind of configure the controls for the person that you're going to send. So it is a fairly complicated device, and there's more to the device even than that, but it's utterly beyond you.
So all this does is it transports each of us. No, I don't say that. So this device will put us up there, which is where we think the automaton is. Correct? I don't have the device. Somebody else probably has that. So
You have it.
Oh, all right. I guess I do have it. So yes.
So your tracking device is now basically pointed straight up.
Okay.
It also, there is an indicator. Marnalis pointed out that the device has an indicator to show whether you're getting close. But the odd thing is that you've traveled all day and that thing hasn't shown you getting any closer. Which is weird because you're right. You should be right below where Alilu is.
It's just broken.
Because it used to be pointed off in that direction, and then you followed it, and now it's pointed straight up, right? So, triangulation.
And shake it.
Yeah, it's just tap it a few times. So, Morales is pretty convinced that his automaton wanted to come home, right? Like, he didn't give any sense that it might have escaped.
On rogue.
He didn't indicate. Nothing he said suggested that there was any kind of choice involved.
Okay. So then we have to consider the fact that if the automaton went through this thing, it's not coming back. It's coming back because it's failing to come back because it can't come back. Which means that if we would use this thing, as you seem to be suggesting we might want to, we have to deal with the fact that we might not be able to come back.
Well, and also it seems as though, based on what I can figure out, that the device needs to be sort of designated for each person. And so could Lilu have done that for him or herself? Or
yes, you
someone
can
else?
set the controls for you.
Oh, okay. So, and Lilu, wow, that's tricky.
Lilu.
Lilu is sort of cognizant and sentient and sapient enough to have done that. Okay.
Presumably, you don't know.
Okay.
She was able to do it because she has a multipass.
That's what I keep thinking.
Well, send me up and I'll check it out, I say.
I totally think Colleen should go first.
And I put on a sheen of ice to protect myself from any potential threats.
Now, before you go, is there going to be any way at all that you can indicate to us whether it is a good idea or a bad idea for somebody else to go?
If I don't come back, that means you should all come up.
How would you?
So I have a tracker, which may or may not be useful. It's a glass plate that allows me to tag all of you, and it's sort of like Find My Friends for. But I don't know if that will help. It's not. Ilulu's tracker is not helping us that much, so maybe it won't be useful. I don't know.
Well, Monty, looking up at this thing that's now pretty much straight above us, this prior world structure of some sort. So remind me how big the gap is between the top of this lower structure and it?
It's at least like 800 feet.
Oh, so it is nobody's coming down on a rope, for example.
Not unless you got way more rope than I think you do.
I don't think I have 800 feet of rope. And are there openings in this thing? Does it look like there's like ways that somebody could look out, or?
No, it looks to be the same weird kind of stone-like material that this thing is made out of. But unlike this one, it is entirely solid. But it has the exact same sort of shape, which is roughly a cone, and then it kind of tapers at the bottom, and then it's. But from your perspective, that bottom is flat.
Right.
So I have a cipher that allows someone to float into the air vertically up to a short distance per round for an hour.
So do you only go up, or can you control coming down?
It said it's a sash, so I don't know if someone on the ground can control you. It sounds like you can't control horizontal, but it sounds like you can just keep going up.
If you were up there, you could use it to get back down and control your descent?
I don't know. It doesn't say.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably.
I also have something with that. A cipher that it was explained to me that if I look someplace, I can suddenly appear there if I can see it. It has range, but it's pretty far.
Cool. Although it sounds like we would just end up on the outside of this building above us, right? We don't see a door.
I mean, if I needed to get away is what I'm saying.
Oh, good.
I have a cipher that can allow me to pass through physical spaces. So if it weren't for the fact that it's a very long fall, I could use that cipher to exit the building.
Right.
Or somebody could. Maybe Bruce could borrow my cipher and your sash. And so if he's the first one that goes through, if things go horribly, horribly wrong, he could pass back out through and lower himself down.
I like this plan.
I'd want to see
Or
that,
maybe
actually.
go first, because you're the one who's most likely to be able to use controls to get yourself back if there's a control box at the other end.
I am not super keen on heights, but if I close my eyes, I can probably do that.
Well, once we use the cipher to, certainly I could get a report out by taking the two ciphers, but then if it's all safe, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I'm happy to try that. If I don't come back, I guess that means I'm dead, or in stasis, or in a position where I can't actually come back because I've gone to a place where we don't expect.
We should have broken that guy out with us that had ESP, that guy that was in prison with us.
Yeah, but he was so annoying.
I know, but he would have been so useful. If we
Is that Tannis? Tannis has ESP, right?
I can talk telepathically to people, yeah, but it's only a short range. That's why I haven't really offered that up right now as a solution to this.
it was Tannis.
I mean, keep talking about me in front of me. That's
that
fine.
annoying guy. Oh, wait, sorry.
All right. Well, we're gonna camp here for the night anyway, right? Don't you think? Before we start.
Yeah, I mean, let's do it in the middle of the day or at the beginning of the day. I agree.
It'll give us some time to think about how we want to make this work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I owe Colleen my life. I mean, I Now to survive prison without your help, so I will go. If you want me to go with you, I will. If you want to go alone, and you don't,
I don't
want to
go alone.
Okay, then I'll go with you tomorrow.
But I think it only allows one person to go at a time.
Well,
so
we can have Sherrod send me right after you, so you're not alone.
Okay.
With it.
Sounds good.
I can figure out how to do that. I might spend a little time this evening just making sure I understand this device very well.
Okay.
Well, it strikes me that there's 2 dangers here. Let's say 3 dangers.
Let's say 4.
One danger is one danger is that if you go to the place and it's right there and you can't get back. The only person that is going to be equipped to deal with that danger is Sherrod. The second danger is you go to that place and it's super, super dangerous. In which case, Sherrod may not be our best choice. Probably Kelly is better. And then the third danger is it doesn't actually send you there. It sends you someplace completely different. But again, probably Sherrod is the best one to be able to come back. So maybe we should send Sherrod, because 2 out of the 3 scenarios, she's the best. He's the best person.
Although you're assuming I won't be able to get back.
Well, I'm saying that that's one of the major dangers, is the inability to come back.
And are you saying that because the device needs to be carefully tuned, and so it would need to be somebody who knows how to use Numenera, as opposed to climbing?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do I actually know whether this device, I can bring people back with this device? Have I figured
You're
that
pretty
out?
sure that this device only, well, that you know of, sends people up. Like I said, there is more to the device that you were not able, it just was utterly unknown to you. There's a whole series of controls and whatnot that mean nothing to you. But you're pretty sure that they don't, well, you'd be surprised to learn that they are to bring you back. You don't think that this device brings you back.
Seems possible that there's a device up in the other building, whatever it is, structure that could send us back, but I don't know.
Yeah, but that begs the question of why the automaton didn't use it.
Well, maybe a bookshelf fell on it.
Or it's broken, or there's something keeping him captive.
An
Yeah.
evil
Well, that's what I'm
bookshelf.
saying. That's scenario number 2.
Right. Well,
I'm happy to follow Faroon's suggestion and volunteer Sherrod to go.
and
That is what is going on here.
Sharad's gonna use all of her ciphers and spend all of the evening convincing you guys that this is a very bad idea. um,
Well,
Unless
it comes down to what we're most afraid of. Are we most afraid of getting stranded up there like the automaton appears to be? Or are we most afraid of getting up there and discovering that there's something that chops us into little bits? And that's why the automaton didn't come back.
Now I'm
Well,
scared
here's
of both.
here's another scenario. Sherrod sends herself up, can't get back, then none of us know how to operate the equipment, so we can't go after her.
right.
Which kind of suggests that she should be the one operating the equipment.
The device that you have, the indicator, also has a readout that shows whether Lilu is functioning, and it shows that it is functioning.
Okay. So I think that our plan, I don't know, I think our plan should be for me to operate the machine and send you guys in the order that feels the safest for everybody. I don't know what that is.
And I can use Numenera as my flex skill again tomorrow, so if in a pinch I could spend a lot of effort and figure out whatever device is up there, assuming there is a way down. And if there isn't a device that gives us a way down, then the argument is moot. We just go and find some other way out, like a parachute.
Well, this to further that, this evening I could spend a little bit of time giving you some good advice, right, so that you could attempt to have a better understanding of the device as well.
Sounds good to me.
I'm on board with this plan.
Would
I also have flex skills, so I can also study up on Numeneras and assist Sean or whatever.
Okay. Well, so it sounds like you got a plan at least for the evening. Other than some kind of disturbing animal howls far off in the distance when the moon rises that night, nothing happens. And eventually, after you get some rest, the sun rises, and nothing around you seems to have changed.
Even the indicator for Ililu.
So you have that, Sharad?
Mm-hmm.
So you noticed that in the middle of the night, the indicator that shows whether Lilu is functioning, it kind of flickered, but it currently shows that it is functioning.
Okay, I'm going to relay that information, which means there's probably a sense of urgency.
Great.
Right, so who wants to go first?
I'm still up for going first, and let's
I'll go second.
Prune, let's go.
Colleen, should we give you the sort of plan of the sash and the other cipher just as a backup since you'll be up there first?
I'm happy with my teleportation device.
Okay.
But you have to be able to see where you go, right?
Okay.
I'm not 100% clear on how it all works, but
Magic.
I
It's
start
magic.
to read and then go, no, okay. He thinks he's got it. It's good.
But Tanis is going to come up immediately afterwards, if possible.
Okay. And do you guys feel more comfortable with me staying here with the machine, or do you want me to follow you?
Give us a few minutes. Because
Okay.
if there's a machine up there that can send messages back or send one of us back, then I'll figure out how to use it and we'll let you know.
Because
Okay.
you have your flex skill in Numenera, correct?
Today, we'll.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
I'll take
right.
climbing.
Okay.
We'll both be good at climbing.
Colleen, are you ready?
I get into my climbing position.
Monty, I'm guessing these all need a unique roll.
They are, yes. Like I said, it's kind of complicated because you have to attune the device to a specific target, and that target can be you, but you still need to do the work, and so there is a roll involved each time.
Okay, so I'm specialized in the Numenera, and I'm going to use a level of effort for each one since this is important.
Wow. Okay.
And I want to watch what Sharad is doing just so I get a sense of how this machine works so I can hopefully kind of apply that knowledge to whatever other device we might find.
Okay. So you've actually made this not too difficult a roll if you're using effort as well as being specialized.
All right, Colleen, close your eyes. 2. Are you guys sad that you used up all your XP now?
I am a little sad.
Man, I'm rolling horribly.
All right.
I rolled them all at once.
What happens is sort of a bubble, almost like an egg-shaped bubble of energy begins to appear around Kalain. But then you realize, you didn't quite configure things right, and then it just fades away and nothing happens.
Okay.
I'm not turned inside out or anything like that, right?
That was just a practice run. I got both.
You rolled a 2, not a 1.
Okay.
Oh, no. Oh, no, we don't have any XP. All right. All right, I'm specialized, applying a level of effort. 15.
All right. So you think, you see where you went wrong. And you had the headphones plugged in.
You're all very funny.
We're sorry, Sean.
No, you see where you went wrong. You reconfigured the device just ever so slightly. The sort of the bubble of kind of greenish blue energy forms around Kalain, and then just suddenly, just like breathtakingly suddenly, all of you watch as Kalain is just launched into the air and disappears into presumably the structure. It just all happens really fast. And then you're going to send Tanis up immediately after?
I think so, unless Tanis is running away screaming.
I'm
All right, Tanis, I've always liked you. Are you ready? High level of effort. And that's a 1.
Does it just teleport my blood?
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
That's why we have redundant organs.
So, Glenn has shot up into the air. You quickly modify the controls for Tanis, perhaps hastily, because you want Tanis to follow behind Kalain very, very quickly. And that is when one of the other aspects of this device that you weren't really clear on begins to reveal itself, in that you suddenly realize, as you are finishing configuring the machine for Tanis, that there's some kind of security or defensive mechanism built into this device, and you have just activated it. And these weird kind of prongs kind of flip out from the sides of the device. So, because it's this long, tall cylinder, and these things have kind of popped out like that, and they crackle with energy. And that was weird. Did everyone else's screen just change?
Yeah. Nice timing.
And they crackle with energy and begin to arc out with bolts of what seem to be very dangerous looking energy. So the 3 of you that are there are all going to need to make immediate speed defense rolls.
I rolled an 8 and I am trained.
Okay.
I rolled a 7 and I am not trained.
Okay.
I rolled a 12 and I am not trained.
Okay. All 3 of you are struck, and each one of you takes 6 points of damage from the security device as it blasts you for the intruders that you are.
What did I do?
Would armor help me with this, or is it like an energy sort of thing?
Armor does help with this. It's not ambient, so it is a directed attack, and so the fact that you've got some kind of protection on sort of absorbs some of that damage.
You say 6 points or 7 points?
I said 6.
Wait, okay. Well, that sucks.
Yes, and those things are still out and still crackling with energy. But meanwhile, so Kalain, you appear in this very large kind of circular chamber. The walls here kind of taper down as inward as they go down. So basically, if you can imagine, there's a circular floor here, and the floor is smaller than the ceiling, right? It widens as it goes up. There is a ramp on one side of it, kind of far from you, that ramps up, leading up to a chamber or someplace above you, because the ceiling here is probably about 15 feet high. There's a faint kind of bluish-green glow in here, which is illuminating, and there is a device that seems kind of familiar to you, in that it's a long metal cylinder, but it's mounted on the ceiling, and it's kind of in the middle of the ceiling, so that if you can imagine the other one being pointed up, this one seems to be pointed down. There also seems to be some kind of device immediately below it on the floor, kind of circular and round, with some controls by it that, magic stuff. But other than that, there is nothing, no immediate threats or anything. But there's also no Tanis. you wait a few moments, and Tannis isn't coming. Do you take another action, or do you take an action, or do you want to just continue to wait?
I will wait a little while. I'll wait up to like half a minute before I start messing with the controls.
Okay. And back down in the smaller structure, we'll start with Sharad. What do you do?
Is it still kind of attacking us, or is it like a one-time attack and then it goes away?
Those sort of dangerous-looking prongs are still extended and crackling with energy.
Do I have any sense that taking them out, like with my onslaught, would that destroy the whole machine, or do I think I'm good enough that I could take out that particular part of it?
You would certainly be risking
Destroying
damaging the whole device.
Was there anything I learned last night when I was studying, that would help me figure out how to turn this defense system off? I know you said it's super hard and mysterious.
You think that you could try that? This is definitely part of the machine that you just totally didn't understand before. But now you have some empirical evidence as to what that part of it does. So you can always try.
All right, can I give good advice to myself? All right, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll spend a level of effort. I'm specialized. I'm going to try to turn this device off. Oh, are you going to help me?
You're muted,
You're muted, Charles. Charles, you're muted.
Charles, you are muted.
So yes, I was looking over your shoulder and trying to sort of study up on this device, and Numenera is my flex skill for today. So hopefully I can be of aid.
Okay, so you can use your action to aid.
All right, fingers crossed. I've traded out my dice, so that's a 12.
Okay, so the answer is yes. The two of you together can work on the controls of this device and deactivate the security system. The prongs kind of retract back up into the device.
I'm really nervous about attempting this again. I mean, I almost killed Tannis, or all of us.
Tannis is going to be fine. He's going to be great. He's going to love it.
All right.
Shauna, is Sharad actually impaired at this point?
I have 1 might point currently. Thank God I took that recovery roll, because otherwise I'd be in trouble. Yeah, those 6.
You want to take another recovery roll now?
It's a 10-minute.
No, this is a new day.
This is the new
Oh.
day.
Then yes.
Everything
I do want to take a recovery roll. Good call.
In fact, if you were still down from the night before, you would have had ample time to take 3 more recovery rolls.
I forgot that we had the evening. Okay, that's perfect. So I am actually much better than that.
I will make the recovery roll.
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay.
Tannis, are you ready?
Yes.
All right, I'm specialized, and I'm going to apply a level of effort, and this time I'm going to roll 14. They like this.
Woo! All right. So, a bubble of energy, sort of oblong bubble appears around Tannis, and then suddenly Tannis shoots up into the sky.
Whew. All right.
So, Kalain, you're just about ready to give up and maybe start looking at this device, although you're not exactly sure how it's going to work, how you could actually start even pushing buttons because it's mounted on the ceiling.
Oh, right.
But just as that happens, sort of in a flash of energy, this bluish green energy, Tannis appears in the room about where you appeared initially.
Good thing I moved. All right. I tell Tannis that we're all safe here.
Yeah, we had a bit of a mishap downstairs, but we figured it out.
That's good to hear.
The first
Sharad, are you going to wait for a bit now, or?
Farun, what do you think? Do you want to go up, or do you want to wait and see?
Well, here's the big flaw in our plan. We have absolutely no idea what happened. You could have just shot them like a missile. They could be splat marks on the bottom of that thing, for all we know.
I don't see them up there.
No. So probably not. They're not that, but they could have. I don't know. Who knows?
How?
I mean, it's a structure from a prior world. It may not have any air in it. You know, who knows how long it's been there.
This is very true. Has our tracker changed?
Oh, good call. I checked.
Sorry.
The tracker for Alilu?
Yeah.
So what about the tracker for the Find Your Friends tracker?
Oh, yeah, did we do that? Did we use that?
You tell me.
Do you guys agree to let me tag you?
I would have.
Sure.
Yes. Chances are yes.
I would have let you, yes.
They said yes.
Then yes, we did. And what does that show?
Okay, what information does it say it gives you?
It says it allows me to determine the distance and direction of up to 7 allies who've agreed to be tagged.
Okay. How long does that last?
It's a piece of equipment. It's a tracker. It doesn't say. So I'm guessing it's permanent. I didn't tell them that though.
Well, we won't worry about that for the purposes of tonight's game. So they are about 850 feet directly above you.
All right. It would be nice if this tracker told us if they were alive, but you know,
It does tell us that they still exist.
True. True.
That's a useful piece of information.
Yeah, we should have told them to run around when they got up there or wherever they got so that we could see if they were alive. Make a note of that for next time.
Maybe we give them 3 or 4 minutes just to see if they move, because if they're in space, presumably they won't just sit there. Whereas if they're perfectly still for a long time, maybe they're encased in stone.
That is a good point. We're gonna wait and see if the trackers move a little bit.
Dennis and Klein, what are you doing?
I'm looking for a similar sort of device, just so, trying to find a way to send us back.
So
Right.
look at that on the ceiling there.
It does indeed look exactly like the device that sent you up here, but as someone who is a little bit more familiar, the challenge of using it is even more apparent to you because the controls are configured as though you would be standing on the ceiling. It's about 15 feet up.
And there's some
There's a
sort of-
ramp that circles up to the ceiling, though?
Yeah, but not up to. This is a very, very wide room. That's off to one side. Clearly, leading up, that ramp leads up to some other part of the structure.
Well, I think if we go up the ramp, maybe there's a connection to that. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
bottom side of the device we actually need to use.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not coming after like a minute, I say we go up the ramp and see if we can figure out what's happening. Maybe they had another mishap.
Sounds good. Monty, is there light in here?
Yes, there's a faint bluish green glow everywhere you look.
Okay. Would it be smart to activate a glow globe for more light, or is it about the same level as a glow globe?
Well, certainly a glow globe would give you more light.
Okay, then I'll activate a glow globe.
Okay. All right. So about after. So your device, Sherrod, is not so pinpoint accurate that you can pick up like subtle movements or whatever. But eventually, it does show that Tanis and Kalain are moving.
Woohoo! Does it? Can we tell if it's like herky jerky, like someone's carrying their bodies, or are they actually?
I'm picturing like one of those giant beasts just grabs somebody and is shaking them apart or something like that. It's not that kind of movement, right?
The first part of my sentence would answer that question.
All right. I think. What do you think? I think we should.
Send me.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna send Faroon. I am again specialized. Use a level of effort. Cross my fingers. You might want to close your eyes. 14. Man. 14.
Right.
All over the
Same
board.
thing happens to Faroon. An encasement of energy, and then shot up into the sky. So about the time that you guys reach the ramp and are beginning to go up and explore that, there's a flash of blue-green energy, and Faroon is there with you.
I point dramatically. Hello!
We thought you were dead, I say.
Come on up.
I'm glad to see that you're not.
As are we.
I don't respond.
Come over to the
All
right.
right, Shrad, your tracker is showing that all your friends are now directly above you. What are you going to do?
I'm going to move around like in a circle and just kind of like do some movement to see that to show her that there's a movement.
You can
Can you
spell out
spell the
Sharad's
word
name.
yes? Well, if they're moving, I would not send my friends through this if I wasn't willing to do it for myself. So I'm going to prep myself and get nervous and make this thing happen.
Okay.
All right, so specialized, use a level of effort. 9.
Okay. You send yourself up, and so about, just mere moments after Faroon, you start moving around the room, there's a flash of energy and Sherrod appears.
Woo!
The band's all here.
All right.
Where's the automaton?
Don't know. This
Still
ramp leads
pointing
elsewhere.
up from where you are.
Here's a ramp. Let's go up it.
All right.
So this, other than what you've already described, Monty, this room is completely featureless?
Yes. Still the same smooth, dark gray, stone-like material. And so you spend some time, you ascend to this ramp and spend some time exploring what seemed to be a series of oddly shaped but extremely empty chambers. Nothing that is revealing a way to get to the through to the ceiling that you are hoping for to get to the upside down device. But you do find a shaft with another very steep ramp spiraling up into it that looks like is the way to get further up in the structure, and that is where your indicator is also showing that a lead is.
Okay.
Which
So either
makes
this
sense.
is a very elaborate trap, or we're heading in the right direction.
Well, I mean, if Alilu arrived here and couldn't get to the return device, it makes sense that it would take this path trying to get up there as well. So we're just retracing its footsteps.
I started dancing.
Okay.
I have a light.
At the what?
I have a light.
Oh, okay. At the top of this shaft, you come up into another very large room, and this room has a device at the center of it that is shaped exactly like the shape of both of the large, the larger structure and the smaller structure down on the ground. It has that same kind of rough conical shape. The difference is that this is not made out of the stone-like material, but it's made out of some kind of dark metal. And there is, now with almost all of you having some, keen eye for the Numenera today, you notice right away that there is a control panel located on this device. The room itself, however, is a good 200 feet across. And there are a great many oval doorways that basically ring this entire room, the entire perimeter of the room, all the walls equal distance, spaced just more than a few dozen doorways. And as you look at them, they each lead to drastically different places. You look through one and you see some kind of savanna with rolling hills. You look through another one and there's a blizzard with snowscapes and blowing snow and whatnot. You look through another and there looks like there's the remains of some ruined city. Through that one you see that there are not one but two suns in the sky.
Holy crap.
You look through another one and it's dark, but you can see stars in the sky like it's night. But through some of the others it's daytime. Through some of the others it looks like it leads into some kind of interior place. All different locations. and each one of them has a very clear, I should say, a very obvious but translucent kind of energy shield covering it, with the exception of two. Two of them do not have the energy shields over them. One of them that leads out into that kind of blizzardy, snow-filled one. The other one leads out into the first one that I described, the kind of rolling hills, savanna area. Let's see. And so the only other thing that you notice is that the floor here, it looks like it has taken some damage in places, and maybe it's just age, but some of the floor panels have collapsed, revealing a substructure underneath this particular chamber, and from it there is this bluish green glow kind of humming up. You get the feeling that whatever it is down there that's glowing is hot, because steam is rising up through the holes in the floor. And so, and your indicator is pointing at one of the doors. It is not one of the two doors that does not have an energy field. It's yet a different one. And when you look through it, you can see what looks like a very kind of misty, cloudy place with rocky, with black, almost volcanic-looking rock all over the place. And it appears to be maybe dusk there.
So, are there controls anywhere?
Yes, on the central device there is a control panel, and you are coming in on one side of the chamber.
I'm going to
The
defer
speed here is very high.
I'm going to defer to Sherrod, since she knows more about this than either.
I will
of
just
us.
guard in case anything's come through those two open doorways. Make sure nothing threatens Sherrod while she checks out the main
You
control.
do see that I mean, these are utterly open, and so like there's a little bit of snow coming in, but there's not as much snow as you would have thought if this blizzard has been raging for a long time, and you would think that the snow would have drifted in even more over time.
Are there footprints or anything like that in that snow, or in the dust that's coming in from the Savannah one?
No.
Hmm.
Well, maybe the device allows you to turn on and off the energy shields to these doors, and maybe we can track it.
Maybe they're randomly opening and closing. Who knows?
Maybe that.
Find out.
If I step through the Savannah one and turn around and look, what do I see?
So you're gonna leave the group and go through one of the doorways.
I'm gonna stick my hand through it first.
Okay. There's a noticeable temperature change as it's much warmer there.
Okay. Well, then I am going to sort of half step through and look around.
Okay. I would like you to make an immediate might defense roll.
Okay. Gosh, I am going to apply effort,
Okay.
and I roll 16.
Okay. So you step through and you're kind of looking around. There you see no structure. You went from the other side, looking back. You just see this oval doorway, and it's just sort of hanging there, a couple of inches off of the ground. But you don't have very much time to think about that, because even though you can feel that there is air around you, as you're drawing it into your lungs, you're realizing that none of the things that you enjoy breathing in are present here. And you just immediately begin to choke, and you can't, well, you can breathe, but there doesn't seem to be anything good to breathe here.
I'm going to go back to the door.
Okay.
How is it up there?
I'm going to spend a second leaned over and panting, by which I mean making a recovery roll.
Okay.
He says. Roll a 1.
What are the rest of you doing?
Asking Faroon what happened out there.
Well, it's pretty much just what you see, but there's like no air,
Like no air at all, or bad air?
or like it didn't. I don't know if I know it back. It felt like there was something there, right? There was substance breathing into my own.
You were breathing. It was just like Sean said. It was just bad air.
The air was impotent. It contains no life in it. It was like not breathing, even though I was breathing.
Even as Faroon makes this description, suddenly there is a blue-green energy field covering the doorway that he just passed through, and another doorway that had an energy field suddenly disappears.
I want to keep count,
No, there's nothing.
starting at that point, just to see if we can get a sense of how many seconds pass if another door opens or closes.
Okay. You can also take that time to count. There are 32 doors here.
Jesus. Okay. But we kind of know which one we think our automaton might be in, correct?
Your indicator is pointing toward one.
All right. This is beyond my experience, my experienced experience, and but I'm happy to try to figure out these controls. If you guys think that's the way we want to go.
Okay, so to be clear, that would mean going to the middle of the chamber where this sort of conical metal device is. That's where the controls are. The difficulty there, the problem, is that, like I said, the floor parts of the floor have collapsed away. So to actually reach the central controls, you'd kind of be walking on just sort of the grid upon which the sort of the floor is built.
Is there anything like horizontal, like a railing or anything that I could, if I could use my sash cipher and pull myself along toward it without actually having to be on the ground? Or is it not? I don't know how good sense.
Give me a shove.
Plain floor.
Well, it's about 100 feet a distant. It's a long distance to get to the central part where the controls are. So I'm not understanding the sash idea.
Because it would keep me from falling. If I had something to hold on to, it's essentially using it as a floating device.
And where are you going to tie it to?
No, her cipher sash
Right?
that lets her levitate.
To make herself float.
Oh, you levitate. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I was imagining you kind of just taking a sash and tying it.
No, it just says it's a sash. It doesn't have a name. Sorry about that.
All
It's
right.
the one that lets me float.
Okay. In theory, if you were floating, you could just kind of pull yourself along the floor, but there isn't anything else. I guess you could float up to the ceiling and move your way across the ceiling.
I could give you my teleportation cipher, and you could teleport out to the center.
I feel like we might need that in the future. And plus, it's not going to let me teleport back, is it? One way. I
How long
know.
does the floating thing last?
An hour.
Yeah, so maybe going up to the ceiling, going across, and lowering down.
Yeah, someone will have to hold the end of it, probably. Tie it to your bag of rocks, maybe.
So you don't float off while you're there.
Yeah, so you can help me come back down, I think, right? Because the ceiling is higher than the device.
Right, but you can move up and down.
Oh, I see. So if I use the ceiling to cross, I can move down on my own.
Right.
Okay.
You could also, if you wanted to, just float, 3 inches off of the ground and kind of go prone.
Astronaut style.
All right, let's do that. If you guys think, yeah? All right, I'm going to try that. Do I need to, I'm guessing I don't need to roll to use the cipher, but I need the roll to get in there. Or no?
No, that seems like a very reasonable thing to do.
Okay.
But as you get close to this central device, it is clear that the things that are beneath the floor in this substructure are not only glowing, but are giving off a lot of heat.
Okay.
So even as you are pulling yourself along and kind of crossing over the empty spaces because you're kind of over a grid. You don't have any danger of falling in, but it's so hot to touch that you take a point of damage.
Okay. I'm going to relay that information probably in a very crude manner. Okay.
And then, like I said, there's steam coming up from down below, or some kind of venting system, and a gout of steam comes up. Doesn't inflict any damage, but you can imagine that had you been just trying to balance and walk your way over here, that would have made things really challenging. But your cipher and your good idea has made it so that you don't have to deal with that.
I don't like this place. All right.
And you are at the central controls.
Okay. I'm going to scan it first and see what I can learn about what it does and all of those other things.
Okay.
And I'm going to apply a level of effort. And I'm going to roll a 16.
All right. So you get a fair amount of information. This device. You're pretty sure just maintains the. It does not actually. At least as you understand it, probably does not actually keep the doors open or have anything to do with the doors open, and only maintains the protective fields over each one.
Okay.
And you can tell from your scan that the device is currently malfunctioning, probably due to age. The same thing that's making the floor collapse. This place is very, very old and is slowly falling apart. And so you strongly suspect that is why there are not all the doors are covered.
And just so I understand what you're describing, when you say that it doesn't keep the doors open, but it creates the protective field, are those the same thing?
No, I mean the door, whether the door has a protective field over it or not, it is this open doorway that
I
leads
see what you're saying.
somewhere else. This device doesn't have anything to do with that doorway. It only seems to control these force fields, basically, that are protecting each doorway. But it definitely gives you the impression that because of the power of this device, those force fields are probably, as far as you're concerned, utterly impenetrable.
Okay. I'm going to shout that information across the space and sort of feel out what everyone thinks their best next move is.
Can you control whether or not a given force field is on or off?
Can I?
You haven't. All you've done is so far is scan the device. You haven't actually examined the controls and taken a look.
Okay, but it seems from scanning it that it seems like that might be a possibility, right? Or do I not know?
It should be. Although you're guessing that the device is. I mean, it's designed to. Well, kind of coupled with the information that you got firsthand with the other device, clearly all of this stuff is meant to be to keep people from messing with these doors.
Okay.
To make a long story short, and so you think that it will be difficult. It's more like you'd have to unlock the device in order to gain access to it.
Got it. Maybe, but it would be hard.
But you could make a roll to see if you could even try that.
You guys want me to give it a shot? Somebody have healing, just in case.
I've got those ciphers, so yes.
Okay. All right, I'm specialized. I'll use a level of effort. I'm getting low in effort here. 17.
Okay.
Whew.
So, with your great skill, what you're able to determine with the good roll is that you probably can't unlock this device. However, because it is malfunctioning, you do think that you can probably alter it so that you can control which doorways it no longer the shields over which doorways no longer function. So you think you can probably give that a try and try to control which doors aren't open, or rather, which doors are open.
All right, I can give it a shot, you guys. Do you think that's the way to go?
Yes, because we need to go where
If we open the Twilight one that we think the automaton's in, close all the others so that nothing comes through.
Right, it would prevent it from closing on us while we're in there, which might be what happens.
Yeah.
Okay,
If I open it and the automaton I work right back in.
true. We can't see it on the other side, though, right? Can we?
No, it's very dark on that side.
Oh, that's
So
right.
those of us that are not in the center, can we move around the periphery to the doors, or are there collapses?
There are, but you can you can manage it.
Okay. Let's go over to the one with the that we think that the automaton went through. The Lilu.
And I might recommend that you stand a little as far away from this device as you can. I don't know what's going to happen. All right.
We're thinking far away from the device is 100 feet, no matter where we go.
All right. I'm specialized. I'm going to use a level of effort, and then I need to rest. But in the meantime, 15.
Okay. You are able to exploit the malfunction in this, and you guys that are standing over by the doorway that your indicator is showing see that the translucent force field goes away, and a strong kind of sulfurish smell comes through, and hot, dry air.
Whew. Somebody's gonna help me come back, right?
Well, I will try it this time so Faroon doesn't have to breathe in a terrible breath of terrible air. But I'll put my hand out in case someone wants to grab it, in case I collapse, and then stick my head through and...
Actually, stop. I've got some rope. I'll tie some rope around your waist.
Okay. I'll stick my head through and take a breath.
Okay.
Tentatively.
The door. So you pass through the plane of the door. It's warmer on the other side than it is here inside the machine, and the air it's unpleasant, but and kind of sulfurous, and so it smells pretty bad, but it is breathable. You are able to breathe.
I'll step all the way through, and I'll see if they can hear me on the other side by saying, "Hey, can you hear me?"
You can. It's kind of weirdly distorted, but you can hear it.
Can I throw a rope in the direction of Sharad just so that she has an easier time coming back? I realize there are gaps and breaks and stuff, and I can't throw it the whole way, but like once she gets close enough, it should be easier for her to come back.
Sure. You can get Sharad over if that's what you want to do, Sharad.
Yeah, I would love that to help us.
How long is this? I'll yell as loud as I can. How long will this portal remain open?
Is it permanent?
You don't know because you're exploiting a malfunction, and the malfunction seems to be making the doors open and close randomly, or the force fields appear and disappear randomly. Actually, you do know enough to know it's almost certainly not permanent. But how long you have, you're not sure.
It's long term.
It's not second.
We hope.
So should we just yell as loud as we can as our first plan for Lilu?
Yeah.
And risk. All right.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Sorry.
Dog doesn't like it.
Yeah, the dog doesn't like it when you shout. When you do that, a sort of yellowish white mote of light kind of comes from around a rock and just sort of floats over to you and is floating next to you.
Did we ever get a description of this automaton?
It's humanoid.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a humanoid.
Okay, so I don't mistake this for...
It would be pretty surprising if this was Lilu.
All right. So I am on my guard then.
Okay.
So it just floats near me and takes no other action?
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed it. Over the dark.
There's a floating mote of light near me. It came up from around a rock, and I'm looking at it wondering if I will be foolish if I address it. But I decide to be foolish and said, "Hello! We are looking for a stray automaton. Have you seen it?" Hopefully, no.
It doesn't reply.
Okay.
And the mote of light just continues to float there in the air.
All right, then.
Seems right.
Does that light provide me enough to see any tracks or anything like that, since Lilu is an humanoid?
Make a roll, perception, intellect.
All right, 14.
You do, in fact, notice right there in kind of the broken dirt and dust of what looks like, dark volcanic stone, a clear footprint that could very well be.
I will point it out to everyone on the other side of the portal. Say, who wants to come across and help me go look?
I step through.
Okay. Again, there is a very unpleasant, almost kind of choking odor here of sulfur. And as Faroon steps through, Kalain, you move to kind of make room, and you're sort of in this somewhat like narrow little crevasse, like at the end of a crevasse. And so you step forward, and you notice two things. One is that your step is almost kind of, it's much more of a bound than you meant for it to be. You feel as though you weigh a lot less all of a sudden, and each step just seems like a very buoyant kind of bounce, which after you give it a couple of sort of tests, seems to be about as awkward and difficult as it is freeing. The benefits seem to kind of outweigh the penalties. The other thing that you notice is that as you kind of come out of this narrow little crevasse, in the near distance, there is a stream across this black, shattered landscape, a stream of bright red that is just running slowly down the side of a very gentle slope. And in the far distance, you see kind of this very smoke-covered peak that also has a red glow to it. And way off in the distance, you can see something kind of streaking through the air that's kind of reddish, leaving a trail of smoke behind it that seems to have recently come out of this glowing mountain.
I'm trying not to think that I've been transported to a magic realm of where demons come from. I'm not really shaking at all, looking at the blood flowing across the land. Looking for a robot, an automaton.
Is this stream of red, is it like blood or is it more like lava?
You're not there yet.
Okay.
Do you want to come through?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also down forward then to clear the space.
Okay, so you also notice the fact that the gravity just does not seem to be pulling on you here the way it does back at home, and you see the volcano off in the distance, and 10 as you come through and discover the same things, and the glowing stream of red definitely seems much more like lava than it does like blood.
Lava to speak of.
Yeah, lava is not exactly great, but glowing, giant flowing streams of blood, that's not a world I want to be in.
I mean, I probably have neither seen a stream of lava or a stream of blood, what I can imagine what a stream of blood would look like, and the fact that this doesn't look like that is at least slightly reassuring.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am reassured by your reassurance.
I want to try to move to some high ground. Like if we're in a little crevasse, I want to see if I can get out of that and maybe up on the slope and get a better view
Okay.
of automatons, for example.
So are you willing to climb, or
Yeah.
do you want to just kind of scramble up to a higher place than you are? Because this is very rough, mountainous, and terrain. So if you wanted to climb, you could get quite high pretty quickly.
You know,
but
I'm fairly competent. I'm competent in climbing, but I don't think I want to go that far. I just want to get out of this crevasse and up a little bit.
Actually,
Okay.
Faroon, before you do that, we've got Sharad has the tracker. Maybe that'll give us a direction to look.
Has it, Monty, do you think it's been about 10 minutes? I was sort of hoping to take a recovery roll while these guys were exploring, or has it been not quite that long?
It hasn't been that long, but you can certainly just sort of plant for 10 minutes if you
Yeah,
want.
I'd like to keep planting inside.
Inside. So Sharad's not coming.
I am eventually.
No, I know. I'm just saying. You guys see that Sharad is not coming through the doorway.
Holding up the... Okay.
And so, meanwhile, Faroon is going to try to get a little bit more high ground. Bruce, I think you're muted.
I'll point out to Faroon before he heads up the footprint I saw, and maybe I know he's better at tracking than I am. So
Okay.
Me, I'm not good at tracking. I was good yesterday.
you told me you are a bounty hunter.
No, sometimes I'm good at tracking. Right now, I'm good at climbing up here and looking.
Okay. So if you want to get to kind of where you can get without needing to make a roll, basically where the ascent is only routine, you can get up pretty high. You're clearly seeing a landscape that is in the midst of being utterly devastated by a volcano, and like I said, you can from your perch you can see multiple places where it looks as though the earth itself is just venting up gas. There is this rivulet of lava in the open air, and you can see off in the distance there is this glowing smoke-covered mountain that you kind of only just see the top of it glowing through the haze of a dark charcoal-like smoke, and in the sky you kind of see streaks of red trailed by smoke kind of emanating from that place,
But that's a couple miles away.
at least.
Okay, good. So it's not those. We're not in danger of being bombarded by these giant cinders, are we?
Well, you see things around you on the landscape that look like they could have at one time been cinders that were ejected from far away. They kind of show an impact and whatnot, but they're cool now.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's all nice. Do I see any automatons?
No.
Would it benefit me to really study this? I'm a skilled searcher.
Okay. Sure, absolutely.
I roll a 9.
Okay, and so you have one level. You're reducing it by one level, the difficulty with your skill. You spot another footprint, sort of at the very edge of the ravine, that matches the one that Kalain showed you. Kind of giving an indication that the whoever it was maybe kind of moved off in the direction of the volcano, generally. But you don't see any automaton. You do, however, see a white mote of light, which kind of just pops up from between two rocks and hovers about 18 inches away from your head.
What? I get away from that.
Okay? It generally moves toward you as you move away from it, but it doesn't get any closer than that. In fact, this time it doesn't come within 3 feet.
And it's just a mote of light floating in air?
Mm-hmm.
Is there one near me still?
Yes.
And can I see the one near Faroon?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, there was one of these near you?
Yeah.
He said it.
I talked to it. It did not talk back.
I don't like that.
It's just a
Oh,
light.
there it is.
It's probably a very small bug.
That's what I would assume.
So
So you're just gonna wait until Sharad comes through?
yes.
Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever my time is up.
It is unpleasant standing here breathing in the sulfurous gas, but
You
it
know what?
does.
I'm going to wait on the other side of the portal, just in case.
For
Yeah,
everyone disappears.
My
Okay.
explanation is complete, and she's still going to come out. I'll go back inside too.
Okay.
What happens to our light motes when that happens?
They do not follow you, and instead just kind of disappear behind a rock or something.
Interesting.
I want to make note of the track that Kalain found, so that when we come back in, none of us just like step on it immediately. I want us to have a good starting point for at least following this track.
So you've rested and you've recovered and you're ready to go.
Yep. Ready. What's our plan?
Well, you have the tracker.
All right, so we should step through, figure out what the tracker tells us, and then follow that direction. You think? Seems like the last time I haven't been
Yes.
out there, but it looked like it was
We
not.
should go quickly. Hey, Tennis, can you try and scan if there's any mind behind those light motes next time? Is that an ability you have? I don't know. You tell me you have these mind powers.
I can talk. I could try to communicate with them. I'll give it a shot.
Okay, so everyone goes through?
Yep.
So immediately the proximity indicator on your tracker suddenly flares to life. You've suddenly gotten much closer to Elilu after you passed it. And it's indicating that it's kind of up the incline. Unfortunately, past. Well, it's pointing right through that lava flow, and presumably probably past it. And when you come through, there is a mote of light that comes out and just sort of generally circles the four of you.
I am going to use my telepathic ability and try to communicate with this thing.
Okay.
It says the other party must be willing and able to communicate, but because I can reach out blindly to a mind that I can't see, as like I could talk to somebody in another room. I'm thinking I could at least try and project some sort of hello there, and if it so it can sense that I am trying to communicate, if it has any intelligence at all.
Okay. It does. You do seem to reach an intelligent mind. You get the impression, though, that it's an extremely simple one, and it is registering really less of a thought and more of a kind of an emotional state, and it's just curiosity.
Okay. So I'll try and project in the same way, also curiosity and like calm.
Okay. It doesn't seem to change it in any way.
Okay. I don't want to be projecting like hostility or vague threats. So
Okay.
if this seems to be the limit of the communication that I can do, I'm not going to try and question it.
Yeah, it seems to be an extremely simple mind in your estimation.
Well, I tell Kalain, well, it does have a mind, and it's just curious. It doesn't seem to be hostile. I would treat it like an animal.
Okay. I'm usually bothered by animals that are curious about what I'm doing, especially if I might be near their lair or their food source or their mates, any one of which might be true now.
It's only this big.
It's a mode of light, dude. Who knows what it can do? Let's go.
And I hold up my glow glove. Ooh, scary.
All right, so the good news is that crossing the terrain toward where this lava flow is difficult, but does not require any kind of rolls or anything. It's you're kind of moving along the side of a very gentle incline. When you get closer, obviously the lava is hot, but you have to get pretty close to it before you can really feel the serious heat, because the whole area here is pretty hot. And it is just sort of an area of very slow moving molten rock, right? And it looks as though, and it's just, it's not like in the movies where it's just like this big deep thing that you can splash around in. It's just kind of a slow moving layer of molten rock over the tops of what should almost certainly be cooled layers of lava flow. So, but it is unfortunately about 4 feet across, and the indicator is pointing you on the other side. It's somewhere on the other side.
You can jump across that, right? I say, looking vaguely at all the rest of them.
With a running jump, probably.
Not only am I trained in climbing, I'm also trained in jumping. So this lava flow was made for me to jump over. And I jump over it.
Okay.
I apply a level of effort.
Okay.
So it reduces the difficulty by, two, I guess, 2 steps, I guess.
By 2. You're not even gonna need to have to make a roll to just come over 4 feet.
That was another one.
However, you seem to the lower gravity we can use.
Oh, right. Forgot about that. So I probably just go, wow! I probably...
Yes, it is more of an uncontrolled leap than you had hoped it to be, and your landing was probably very awkward, but also didn't hurt as much when you came down as you would have expected.
Are there any living plants growing in this area? I'm guessing no. Okay.
Siobhan, is your sash still in effect?
It lasts an hour, so I'm guessing.
Yes.
Oh, so that works. Can I? So it says I can. I'm going to try to game my cipher. It says that I have to weigh less than 250 pounds. I'm guessing that I probably weigh. I don't know. I'm not good at weight.
You probably weigh less than 250 pounds.
Yeah. Do you think I could carry someone with me?
In theory, yes. And someone could also just hold out a hand, and even though you don't have vertical movement, probably who do you want to carry?
Oh, who's got the least risk of going over there, or the most risk?
I can jump it, so I don't need to be carried.
Okay.
Okay, so that works.
Yeah,
and so you get over the lava flow, and only Faroon is on the other side now.
I rolled a 19, and I'm trained.
Okay,
Nice.
you easily get
Go
over it.
I like to put all that extra capability that I demonstrated into panache, as opposed to
You get a minor special effect, and that could absolutely be that,
The hero
like
landed.
Kalain, lands very gracefully at low gravity.
Kalain compliments Varun on his amazing leap and says he has things to learn about jumping after all.
I've often said that about you.
And somewhere along the line, by the time you get across on the other side of the lava flow, there are now not 1, not 2, but 3 different modes of light just kind of floating around you.
I do not like these things.
They're all about the same size and color and brightness and everything.
Yes, they're kind of a yellowish white, pale yellow.
I have decided that they are my new friends.
They're guiding the way for us because it's pretty dark, right?
And your indicator continues to point off in the same direction.
I suggest we go as quickly as possible so we can avoid any difficulties.
Okay. And you do so. You come to another kind of deeper, wider ravine than the one that you appeared in. Again, the landscape here is all just decimated by all the stuff that's been going on here. And your indicator suddenly kind of points down into the ravine. And sure enough, you see kind of wedged between a number of these large black rocks, really big boulders, sharp, jagged boulders. You see most of the upper half of a humanoid made out of metal. You can see that it actually looks like it's been kind of cobbled together from a number of different devices and machines. And its eyes have light, And so you can see its two lighted eyes kind of looking up at you, and
Aw.
it raises one hand in your direction.
Elilu! We've come for you.
So are
I've
these?
got a rope that's still got a loop in it where I tied it around Elaine's waist. Just toss that loop down to it.
Okay.
So are its
Sure.
lights just on, or are they like, can it emote with little emoji like eye shapes?
No, they're
It's
pretty
just
much
sad
just
eyes.
glowing circles.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have emoji eyes.
That's its next
I keep calling her she because you guys made me think of Lilu from.
Sorry.
Sherrod can also go down if necessary.
It's a genderless automaton. So
So, do we think it's wedged? Like, is it wedged? Do we need to go down and get it?
it not only looks wedged, it looks as though it looks as though there must have been like a rock slide or a collapse of the stone wall or something here. This maybe the side of the ravine or something, and it not only looks wedged in between some of these boulders, but it looks really damaged.
So
All right.
So it can't just grab the loop and we, like, on the rope, we couldn't just pull it up.
You could try, but it doesn't
All right.
look like that would work.
can we
Elaine's really
tremble
strong,
up?
right? Elaine's really strong? So I've thrown the rope down and then I hand the other end to Colleen.
Okay, well, Alilu will grab with the one hand that seems to be free. Will grab the end of the rope.
All right, I'll give it a pull and I'll apply a level of effort. Might.
Okay.
I want to rip it.
Yeah, well, I'll climb down if this doesn't work. Oh, it's a natural 18.
Okay. You begin pulling, and at first, Alilu, you can see, kind of starts to slide and move and get out from between the rocks. But then you can see that because of the way it's kind of trapped between some of these rocks, you're pulling and actually slowly kind of pulling its torso in a way that it wasn't meant to be pulled. And you're probably damaging it.
All right, well, I will stop the moment I notice that that's occurring. And
And
so
then
let's
you will-
tie this rope off and go down.
Okay.
And Colleen, I have an oaken staff, so I'll lend you that. Maybe you can use it as a lever to pry off some of those rocks.
I have a sword staff too, so I can also. Yes.
Will actually require a climb roll. Pretty easy for you guys that are trained.
All right, and if we put a rope,
You're still right at the end of your hour of floating, so you can get down without any problem either.
Oh, cool.
all right, well, I will climb as a trained person and roll a 6.
No problem. You get down. And you get down there, you can definitely see, there's at least one of these boulders is going to have to be shifted or moved before you can even hope to try to pull the automaton out of there. And Elilu just says to you, "Assistance, I am in need."
We are here to assist, and I'll wait for someone else to come down to help me push this rock off with the lever of my staff.
Okay?
I will go down with my my sash cipher. Do you think that do you guys think we could onslaught one of these big rocks and rather than move it?
I'm not clear about how your magic works.
Okay, so the two of you are down in the ravine, the other two are up at the top, next to the 5 motes of light that are kind of swirling around you.
5.
All right, let's lever this rock off, Sherrod.
Okay.
Your name's similarity to your actual name has
know.
come close to confusing me a couple times. Hasn't quite.
All right, so you think I could try to onslaught it, or I could help you try to lever? I don't have a tool of any sort.
I put my staff. I try and, with your help, try and put my staff in the best possible place to gain leverage over this boulder.
Sure. I'm strong. I'll help.
If there's any intellect things that will provide, and then I guess neither of us is trained, so I guess I can only get a +1 from Sherrod's help on the roll. And then I will try. I'll apply a level of effort. And,
Okay.
Give it a
Well,
shot.
I could give you good advice instead, which would give you.
Oh,
Let me do that rather than the strength. It just takes my action, and I can tell you, here, put the lever here.
that's exactly what I was. Okay, excellent. All right, so I'll apply a level of effort, and I guess I'll get an additional step from Shauna's good advice. Sharad's good advice. Ooh, excellent. That is a natural 20, not a 1. Yay!
Nice.
Wow, well done.
Remember, you get the points back. What kind of special effect would you like with that 20?
I guess I want to shift the rock in a way so it doesn't immediately fall back and smash the creature, even if we get it free. So I just want to move it out of the way in a safe way.
You, with Sharad's excellent advice, you're able to really put your back into it, move this thing, and not only does the rock shift, but it suddenly kind of gains a tiny bit of momentum and rolls well away.
Well done.
And down, so you know that it won't roll back. Unfortunately, that reveals, but moving that rock, it reveals, and this comes in the form of a group intrusion. So this is 1 XP for everyone. You see that Elilu is damaged. I mean, the lower part of Elilu is just utterly smashed and shattered. Its legs will no longer work, and you're doubting whether how well this thing's ever going to function.
Aw. Poor Elilu.
Can I pull it out of there? Its upper half out of there, or?
At this point, you strongly think that if you pulled on the upper, you would get only the upper half. You would literally pull it apart.
I look to Sharad. Is that a good idea?
Well, let's ask Elilu. I don't know how conversant it is. Like, does it have a suggestion for us? We can explain.
It says gratitude.
Oh.
I think its other lower half is just dead. We can just pull it up.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, cannot do anything worse, right? I don't know. Let's try it. All right, I pick it up. Carefully.
Okay. Well, you can sort of wrench the top part of Elilu free.
Squeeze.
And so you basically got its upper torso. You notice that the lights in its eyes are kind of flickering at this point.
Oh,
And in the one hand that it has that wasn't free before, it kind of motions and opens up its hand and points it toward the two of you, and it just says completion. And there are 3 crystals in the palm of its hand, kind of white crystals.
I'll let Sharad take those.
I will take those, and I will say, "You're coming with us. You'll come with us." I don't know if it understands me, but.
And its lights flicker, or its eyes kind of flicker, and it just says, "Damaged."
All right, let's strap it to my back, and do you think you can carry it with your thing, your sash?
Yeah, we can try if we hurry, because I think I'm at the end of
All
my
All
hour.
right, I'll strap it to her
Okay.
with my rope.
Does that mean him?
Yeah, Shrad's actually a male.
Okay, so, and I think, like, in the future, I will, we'll scan, once we get somewhere safe, we'll scan it and see if we can't help it come back to life a little bit.
Okay. So you are strapping on this. Basically, only the low gravity is going to get you and the top half of this metal being under 250 pounds. But it'll probably work, and it'll probably be the very tail end of your thing, of your cipher. Meanwhile, up at the top, there are now about 9 or 10. It's getting hard to actually keep count of these motes, and they're just kind of swirling around you.
Guys, these things are not. Come on, hurry, let's get out of here.
And so Kalain gets levitates up to the top, and Tanis, are you going to follow behind with a climb?
Sherrod will levitate it up, and yes, Sky will climb up.
I'm sorry, did I say the wrong name?
You said my name.
I'm sorry.
And I roll another, actually a 9 this time, so better.
Okay, so you're climbing up behind. As soon as Sherrod gets up with Elilu to the top, the 20 or so motes that are circling around you just suddenly all begin to move together. You can tell that they're kind of focused in on those crystals, and they kind of buzz around the crystals, and then they all kind of come together and are forming one much larger mass of swirling lights. Yes.
So one thing I wanted to do, just leading up to this, I sort of raised my hand, but you're going, is I wanted to unload my artifact with a big rock and put that back in my bag and get can I put a handful of gravel in there?
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay. So you have that loaded. I knew you said you wanted to do that earlier, so you already have accomplished that. Does anyone want to take any actions right at this moment?
I think between the crystal and Elilu, I'm booked.
Okay. Okay. Well, so yeah, Sherrod and Elilu are at the top. Elilu's still strapped to Sherrod, and Kalain is climbing up and almost to the top. When the motes of light suddenly emit this kind of shrill, sort of keening sound, and launch a blast of pale yellow energy at Elilu.
No. Oh man.
And it strikes Elilu, and there is this horrible kind of burst from Elilu's chest, and portions of the kind of chest plates and chest coverings that it had are all melted and slagged, and the lights are just almost entirely flickered out, and it kind of slumps in the bonds that you have around Sherrod.
Did you say that the crystals had come together?
The motes of light are kind of they're sort of they're still individual, but they're so close together that it's just like one mass.
Great, shoot it.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack. And so this would be normally Numenera devices are intellect, but because this is so clearly just a ranged attack, this would be speed if you want to use effort.
I am going to apply effort. Yeah. Well, I roll a 3.
Okay. So your bits of gravel kind of shoot out of the end of this with a huge boom, and just kind of fly around the motes of light, but nothing really seems to affect or hit it.
It's a warning shot.
Does anyone else want to take an action?
Do I have, if I have an action, I will move so I'm within immediate distance of this thing and attack it.
Okay, you are all within immediate distance.
All right, I have an opportunist ability, which allows me to gain an asset on an attack that some other creature's already been attacked this round, and this creature's been attacked, even though it wasn't hit. And so I'll apply that, and I will also apply a level of effort to inflict additional damage.
Okay.
Assuming my sword staff can hurt light. Which, who knows, it's magic. But if I roll a 2 in this.
Okay. So you swing past this thing, the motes of light just kind of easily move out of the way, and you slash through the air.
You're laughing at us.
Tanis, do you want to
I do want to reach out telepathically. I don't know if I can communicate with all the clusters as one mind or just another individual one, but I want to just try and send impressions of, calm and curiosity.
Okay, so when you reach out, you sense a much more complex mind, but just one.
Mm-hmm.
And it is thinking thoughts about desire and greed and crystals.
It wants those crystals. I tell that to the group. I say that out loud.
And Kalain, do you want to take an action?
Clay already took an action.
Run.
Sharad, do you want to take an action?
Am I worried about this slagging, burning stuff that I am attached to currently? Like, am I in danger of?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't think so.
Then I'm gonna blast this sucker's little mind.
Okay.
Try. We'll see.
Go
With my
ahead.
onslaught, it seems like, based on what Tannis just found out, that there's only one mind, right? So I can just aim for that.
Sure.
Okay, I'll apply a level of effort, and I will roll a 9.
So you used a level of effort and you got a 9. That does not bring you into contact with this mind.
Damn. Oh, sorry.
You have XP. You have that XP if you want to reroll.
Yeah.
But a
Yeah,
9
let's just run.
We've already resolved that action.
I don't know that I can run with this on my back.
So I believe every one of you has acted, and so the thing emits another ray of energy. This time at Sharad.
Okay.
You have the crystals, right?
Yeah, I do have the crystals in my hand. I will apply a level of effort, and I'll roll 17.
Okay. You are able to dodge out of the way of this burst of energy.
I suggest we drop one crystal and take the other two and run like
Really like-
Varun said.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like Ilila gave its life for this, though. Sorry, Ilila.
So, Kalain, what action do you want to take?
Well, I'm gonna wait until someone else attacks it this round.
Okay. Tannis, what action do you want to take?
I'm waiting to see what Sharad does, but I say, good idea, Kalain.
Faroon, what action do you want to take?
I'm going to yell to people to run for the portal, but I'm going to draw my sword and attack the thing. I presume it takes basically a round to reload the gun.
It does.
All right, so I'm just going to switch to sword. I'm going to yell at everybody, run for the portal, and attack. And miss it.
Okay.
I'll attack it.
Okay.
I'm actually going to use a surging confidence, which allows me to take a recovery roll and then immediately take another action, which I will use to attack it.
Okay.
And, I'll apply a level of effort, and I gain the opportunity. So it's actually going to be down by 2
Okay.
steps. And I roll better this time. I roll an 18.
Okay. So you hit. 18 is plus 2 damage.
Yep. So I'll do a total of 8 damage because I have a sword staff.
Wow.
So 6
All right.
plus 2.
So you slice right through the mass of swirling motes of light and kind of break apart the mass. And it almost immediately reforms, but it seems as though somehow there are fewer individual motes, right? You've somehow lessened its glow.
Didn't get very many points back in my recovery roll, sadly.
Tannis, you were waiting for something. I can't remember what.
I was waiting on Sharad.
Oh. And Sharad, you do onslaught, right? And
I did last time, yeah.
But not yet this round.
Right.
okay, so what are you going to do?
I'm going to start moving toward the portal as Faroon suggests, but just sort of enough so that I can still do an onslaught I'm guessing that's just a few steps.
Yeah, that's not very far.
But I'm gonna try to do the since I watched Kalain actually hit it. Now that I understand that it actually has a sort of a body, I'm gonna use the ray of force instead of the mental to see if I can.
Okay.
I will apply a level of effort, and I will roll a 9. Man, 9s.
Your blast of force flies right by it as this thing deftly moves out of the way.
But the lights are too tough for us.
In terms of travel time, how far are we from that portal?
You trekked a ways across this rough terrain, and it was kind of slow going, so probably going to take you at least 15, 20 minutes to get back there.
We probably need to wipe out these things because they can just keep up with this, no problem. So I'll take a swing at it with my staff.
Okay.
And I will spend effort because I'm not particularly good at this. And I rolled a 4, so that was great.
All right.
Man,
Your
What's that?
self-fulfilling prophecy of not being good at it proves to be true. As you swing and don't come anywhere near it. I believe that is everyone acted, so this thing does what it does best, and it shoots out energy. Sharad's the one with all the crystals, so it seems to be drawing the attack.
If you guys tell me to let go of the crystals at some point, I will. I'll apply a level of effort, and I will roll an 8.
Okay, you are hit, and you are going to take 6 points of damage, and you lose your next action
Oh, wow.
from just the sheer ferocity of the burst.
I'm not knowing that. I will say drop one of the crystals. But I'm not going to take an action until someone else attacks it.
Okay, I think that brings us to Fruin then.
Yeah, I'm gonna sort it. I got it better.
Okay,
Oh, I rolled 18.
nice. That is a hit, and it is also plus 2 damage. So what does that give you?
6 points.
6 points. That definitely seems significant to it. Like before when it was struck, it just kind of cleaves it in two. The motes kind of swirl around, come back together, once again forming mostly a singular mass, but it is far less bright than it was. How about Kalain?
Now that it's slightly distracted, I attack it. I'm applying effort to hit, so I'm going to increase it by 2 steps because of my opportunist ability, and I roll a 16 this round.
Then
All right, so 6 points of damage.
all right, and with one massive stroke, Kalain just swipes through it. The motes kind of scatter and then just fade. They're gone.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah,
Sherrod,
I'm glad all
really
you have
hurt?
my back.
Are you
I was
really hurt?
I have a point of might left.
Okay, I'm going to take that cipher injection we got from Myra, and I'm going to use it on you. Just give you 6 might back.
Ow!
Okay.
Trust me on this.
Remind me, Sean, how much?
6 might.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
I just don't want us to get attacked by something else along the way and have you fall.
All right, and the 4 of you are gonna hoof it back to the door.
Yep.
All right. So about halfway there, the 4 of you are joined by a moat, just floating around you and hovering about. Keep going. Ignore it.
Keep
I'm
going.
going to keep running.
Let's get
All
out of
right.
here.
So eventually, the 4 of you and the 4 motes reach the entrance, kind of down the ravine down into the doorway. I'm sorry.
Not it.
I assure you that I turned that off. Technology has failed me.
I did just do not disturb for 3 hours, which we've just passed, so maybe that's what you did.
If you could teach me how to turn the
You
duck
are right.
ring
I
on.
did set it to end at 3 o'clock, and it just ended. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, seeing as that it is 3 o'clock, fortune favors you, and the force field is not up, and you are able to escape this strange, weird world that you have entered into that is tearing itself apart seismically, and get back into your device, into the huge device. As you do, and as you make your way out of that room and back down to the room that transports you to the ground, you have to figure out a way to hoist someone with Numenera knowledge up to the ceiling, but you've got lots of capabilities to do that at this point. Alilu's, by the time you get to that point, Alilu's eyes are flickering for the last time, and
No, Alilu.
It just kind of gestures toward the crystals, and it says, Marnalis, completion.
Completion, Alilu.
And then it just totally fades out.
Aww.
Okay, so when we salvage it for ciphers, what do we get?
No, you have to give it a day at least. Guys, don't you know? Don't you know the automaton protocol?
Klein doesn't know about.
I wanted to save it.
Maybe we still can.
Yeah.
Maybe Morales can do it.
True.
If you don't tear it apart looking for interesting bits and ciphers, you probably could take it back and hopefully get it. All right. So that is pretty much the mission. You have completed it. You'll go back to the Aeon Priest and get your great reward. That is the doorway to eternity.
That was fun. Yeah,
It would have probably been called Doorways to Eternity since there were a number of them.
It's a mystery.
yeah, but that would have given it away potentially.
Yeah.
Well, if those of you that have stuck with us now this whole time, we did get a little bit of a late start. Thank you so much for watching, and maybe we will do this again sometime in the future because it was a lot of fun.
It was super fun.
Yeah. So, just out of curiosity, since we sent a book to press or actually books coming back from press having to do with different dimensions or whatnot that I haven't read yet, does this have anything to do with into the outside?
No, it's actually more into the night. All of these were different planets.
Cool.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Cool.
Thanks, everybody. If you missed any of this, we're going to save it to our YouTube channel, and we'll put the link to it on our website and Twitter and Facebook.
They'll also remain here on Twitch, right?
There's a time limit on how long they store things around.
Really?
No.
We're learning new things. This is our first Twitch experience, so it's pretty cool.
So,
As always, thanks for supporting the Kickstarters, because this was launched because we reached an achievement goal, right? In the
world.
Kickstarter. So thank you very much for that support.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.